video, guys, and today I thought I would do kind of like a house reno, and I decided to do it on a house that my fiance built. And when you see the before and afters, I think he did a pretty good job for somebody that doesn't really play this game, doesn't really build, definitely doesn't know any of the tips and tricks for building, and he experienced quite a few like technical difficulties. I think there's just like some glitches that were happening after I downloaded the eco lifestyle game, and so I kind of wish that I could have recorded his commentary, because I personally think he's hilarious, and just some of his frustration things he was saying were just killing me. And also just like I totally understood where he was coming from as someone that has built a lot and has like learned a lot just recently that's helped my building, to not know those tricks. And then like I don't know, there's some things that aren't really working as they used to before eco lifestyle, and yeah, it was just kind of like he kept apologizing for kind of like bashing my game, quote, but I just like, it's all things that we all think as players and builders of this game. It was like he didn't think or say anything that I haven't said or thought in the past, so I totally got it. So yeah, I originally was going to kind of do a video and like reno his house for his Sim 2 play, and then I kind of took too long, so he kind of updated his version of it, but I downloaded a copy and renoed it. So I had a little bit more freedom because I made my own copy versus something that would alter the one that he's currently playing in. And yeah, so I don't know, I had a hard time figuring out the layout that I wanted, and some of the stuff that I did on the outside, I had a hard time picking like colors and textures and stuff like that. And then yeah, this layout, you'll see I did quite a few different kinds of layouts, and it took me a while to figure out how I wanted it, because I don't know, I had something in my head and then it just wasn't working. And originally I was trying to kind of stick to a layout idea that my fiance had kind of laid out, as like, not like restrictions, but kind of like what he wanted to see, and I kind of ended up scrapping some of that. Like you'll see I moved some of the rooms around from where they originally were, but I did keep some of the main ideas that he wanted. So for this sim, they're kind of not quite hipster, but very artsy. He is doing like a painter's career, so he has, you know, like an actual like paint studio that he started out with. You'll see in the before and afters, and so I did try and stick with that. I got a list of stuff that he would like to see originally, and so there's just stuff like he wanted the kitchen to exit out into the back, because obviously that's like where like the bedroom was before, so I've moved the kitchen into that space. He kind of wanted to see like an arch doorway, because we kind of like, I don't know, like traditional and like, I don't know, more like modern and industrial ourselves, but I don't know, also like classic and something with character. The last apartment we lived in had the potential for so much character. It was a really old house, and it just wasn't kept up properly by the owners, and there was just so many cute character things that could have been done. But yeah, so I did stick with like the archway and figured out a layout that would allow the kitchen to exit onto the patio. And then he kind of wanted to see like light blues, whites, so I did try and stick to kind of like lighter colors for the most part. I love this blue like shiplap-esque wall that I did in the bedroom. I almost put that wood on the like the outside, on the roof and like the eaves, but as I was doing that, I kind of thought like this almost looks like a shiplap wall, and it'd be kind of cool maybe in like the bedroom or bathroom or something. So I don't know, I love this multicolored blue wood wall that's in this bedroom, to be honest. And then yeah, so I kind of I don't know, I have a hard time when I'm building just like sticking to one room. As you'll see, it kind of started in the living room and then I jumped way over to the bedroom. And I did in my another one of my houses this kind of like teal subway tile on the wall in the bathroom, and I loved it. Like, it's not something that I've really played around with before, except like the last couple builds I've done is like doing feature walls in different textures and colors and stuff. Usually I just kind of pick a color that works with the whole wall and paint the whole room. And then I didn't have the move objects cheat on yet while I was doing this, so you'll see that I try and play some stuff and then I end up coming back. What I wanted to do is kind of lay like the basics, and just because I've learned like so many tips and tricks and cheats and all that stuff for like placing items on countertops and walls and just ways to move stuff around. But then if you move the furniture that it's on, you have to move all those pieces again. So I kind of tried to lay like the base, you know, the bigger furniture, the bases of things, and then I could get like really finicky with the decorations down the road. I don't know, I played with the layout of this living room quite a bit. It's a little bit of an odd shape, and I did this to myself. It's not like I was trying to run out a shell that was already there. Like, I created my own problems. So I had a little bit of an issue, and I wanted to go a little more modern but yet artsy. So yeah, I played with like some different windows. I kind of like this big modern like door that's there. I think that one's from the Eco Lifestyle. And then just trying to find some windows from like the base game and stuff that worked. And yeah, originally in the original layout there was kind of like a little office space in the living room, and so I tried to lay that out as well. I do end up changing that because I realized that I don't really have anywhere for like a dining room table, so I ended up moving that later. But yeah, so just adding some accents, moving some furniture around. Alright, and then he had I kept like all of the stuff that was originally in the house and just put it in like the house inventory, so I was able to put some like paintings that his sim has already created around the house, which I think is just kind of like a nice personal touch if you're doing a reno for someone that has specific type of art already made. And then yeah, I just played with the kitchen a bit. I went with like kind of like a lighter blue for this, and I love that we can now freely place the doors, because I was able to place that kind of like end countertop because I was able to kind of just scooch the door over a little bit. And I originally wanted to do the base cabinets and the upper cabinets different colors. I played with that on my last build, and I just loved it, like just adding like a pop of color but not it being like too in your face. But I didn't think that any of like the whites really worked with the cream of the countertop, so I ended up just keeping them all the same. And I placed like these two windows, and then I realized that the second window actually went into like where the painting studio would be. So I kind of almost wished that I had maybe put the kitchen on the corner of the house so I could have added another window, but that's all good. I played with the countertops a little bit, like the island. I didn't know if I wanted to do more of like a rounded edge or square edge, but I did end up going with a square edge. And yeah, just starting to like place some finicky decorations in the kitchen. I don't know what's going on. I think it's since the Eco Lifestyle update, the I don't know if you know, like pressing like the 9 and the 0 to raise items hasn't been working very well for me. It's kind of like hit or miss if it wants to work. Last build I did, it worked, but in this one, I don't know, I couldn't get it to work, and then all of a sudden it just randomly lifted my plant after I kind of exited the game to look up that cheat a little further just to see if it had changed, like the coding for it had changed at all. And I don't know what happened, but I ended up being able to put my plant up onto the fridge, you'll see later. But yeah, I don't know, let me know down below, like, do you use the 9 and 0 to raise objects? If you do, have you noticed any issues with it? Am I just like doing it wrong? It's something that I'm new to doing, so let me know if you have any like knowledge on that. I don't know, I've seen like some various ways online, and I was doing it just fine before I got the eco lifestyle expansion. So I don't know if it's something to do with that. And then I don't know, this wall in the kitchen, I kind of didn't know what I was going to do with it, just because it's like not enough space for a dining room, but I ended up just putting a bookshelf, and I love that this shelf also has some spaces to put your own touches on there. And I was actually surprised that even some of the sculpture items that don't normally go onto shelving was actually going onto the shelves without me having to like cheat and do it. So I don't know if they've updated some of those objects. I wish that a lot more of them were available to put on the shelves, but yeah. I played a little bit around with those pictures. In the last build that I did, I think I made that apple one like really big and actually like kind of scooted it into the wall so it looked like it was leaning against the wall, and I kind of liked that look. So and then here I moved the desk, so I'll put the office space somewhere else and decided to put kind of like a dining table entryway there. I guess it's like kind of a weird layout because you have like your entryway and then you have a dining room table right there, but that's what I did. The only other option I kind of had was to try and move the bathroom door back or something. I don't know. I didn't really think about a dining room while I was building, so that's on me. And then doing the living room, I don't think I've ever used those orange curtains, but I ended up going off of like the colors, like the blues and the oranges that were in the fireplace tiles. So that's kind of like where the pop of color came from. And then I wanted to give them like a really cool painter's studio. So instead of just having an easel in there, I wanted to do a few little like artworks and knickknacks and stuff like that, so it looked like an actual like studio with supplies. And then I ended up switching up the desk a little bit so that it fit in that corner, because I didn't really have anywhere else to put it, and I wasn't originally going to have a desk in this room, but I did have room for it, because I didn't really put as much of the other stuff in that I thought. Sometimes I like think that I have a certain item, and I don't know why I think this, but I think that there's a certain item in buy mode and then I don't have it. So I don't know if it's just like things that I've seen in other videos and I just don't have that expansion pack, or it's custom content, or like honestly there's even been stuff from previous versions like Sims 2, Sims 3, like stuff like that, that for some reason I think that it's in The Sims 4, but it's not. It's from a totally different version of this game. Yeah, so I just played with some of the paintings there. I love the like canvas stacks that sit against the wall. So they just kind of like add more of like a real feel, I think, to the space. Like just having canvas everywhere. I just imagine that for like a painter, right? And then just adding some knickknacks into the bedroom. I didn't do like as many shelves and stuff as I did on my last build, so I didn't have as many little knickknacks that I needed to put in, which is kind of nice because then you don't have as many repeats. But I don't know, for some reason I like had a hard time figuring out what to put on the nightstands. Yeah, and same thing with like above the bathtub. I just never know what to put on that wall. And so I ended up going with just like a beachy picture there. And you know, I've never used these like picture lights that sit above the pictures, but he had them in the old layout, and I thought they were kind of cool, and I felt like it was something that like an artist would have around their house so that they could feature their art and other people's arts, and just really lights them up. So I kind of liked that. And then I just added a mirror. I kind of changed the color of the dresser there because I didn't like how the blues went. And then moving to the outside, I don't realize until later that he actually has like the grass floor tiles instead of like just the whatever grass was there. So that was a weird thing to figure out. I don't think I've ever used those grass tiles. I just use like the terrain paint, but like he doesn't build, so I get why they're there. And then I kind of had a hard time deciding like if I wanted a tile path or just like a terrain paint path, stuff like that. And I tried to use a lot of like the gardening stuff that he already had. I like the like little picnic table underneath the tree. I think that's super cute, and I actually really like how it turned out in the end, because I added like some bushes and some lighting over there. And then I wanted to give some space for a patio set, and I really like this plant wall. I think that's from Eco Lifestyle. I just like the looks of it, and it's something that I could see us having, like if we had an actual house, just doing something kind of like that, because I wish we did have more plants, but I don't necessarily keep plants alive, and I definitely want things that are cat friendly, just in case our cat decides to eat something. And so honestly I'm probably just gonna end up getting fake plants from IKEA, because I don't have to worry about them, and I don't have to worry about keeping them alive. They'll just look pretty all year long. And then I kind of brought like pops of color out here as well, that green and kind of like that coral that goes with the pop of color that we have in the living room. And then I don't know if this is a glitch from adding Eco Lifestyle, but I've always been able to kind of cheat the fence so that you can put it up against the house, even if you don't have, like, even if you're doing like a raised foundation. But for some reason recently it is deleting the roof if you attach it to the house wall, so I do end up having to go back and move that fence so that it attaches to the patio instead of the house. I don't know why it's doing that, and I feel like it's just since I got Eco Lifestyle, so it must be something in the coding of that game that it just changed the way that fences interact with raised foundations, which is unfortunate because I like to have it attached to the house instead of the patio. And then I have a hard time landscaping, I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like I use either white plants or like there's purple plants, and so I didn't feel like a lot of pink and purple would really fit in with this build, because it's just, you know, a single guy, and there isn't really any like pinks or purples or anything like that anywhere else. And then I added some little lights into the bushes, which I don't know if I've done a whole lot in my other builds, but I should, because I just like the lighting and like the evening that it gives. Just kind of like that soft glow. So yeah, here's me realizing that I had no roof and having to fix that. And he was having issues with doing the fencing, and honestly I thought he was doing something wrong and not understanding what I was telling him to do, but no, it's just my game isn't working properly. So that was not his fault. So I ended up changing that, and then yeah, so before and afters, like I said, I think he did a pretty good job when he did his build, and I did like the uses of space, and I'm pretty proud of him for like figuring out how to add stuff, like add rooms and like do all that stuff, and just kind of, I guess, more of like an eclectic traditional look before, and I just wanted to kind of, I guess, modernize it a little bit, and then just make it, like, I guess, feel a little more artsy and I guess a little more advanced, like not like you just moved in and all your stuff is everywhere and like you don't have a lot of stuff. So I guess a little bit fancier while still being artistic and like lived in. So hopefully I accomplished that. Yeah, it's been a while since I guess did such a small yard with a pool. I guess like the first build I did had a pool. So this is like the after, and I don't know if the outside is exactly what I had pictured in my mind. And the like stark black roof, I guess, is very dramatic against the grays and softer blue, but I don't know, all of the gray roofs just like didn't work for me. And then yeah, the kind of like oranges and blues in the tile of the fireplace is how I kind of chose some of like my pops of color in this room. And I like it. That like orange is not a color that I've really played with in previous builds, so that's always fun to like get out of your comfort zone and try a different style or a different color. And I really like that wire and wood shelf. That's totally something that like we would put in our house, so I liked the look of that. And then finished art studio. I basically just like put canvases everywhere. And you guys know I use some of like the men's cologne bottles and stuff that kind of look like paint bottles. And this is definitely, I love the colors in this bathroom. I'm a lover of teal, and I love this like marble looking tile that I randomly discovered one day, even though I think it's part of the base game. And again, I just love this blue tones of like the wood on the wall. And I tried to keep it, a lot of builds I do I feel like are sometimes very feminine, and so I did try to keep it a little more masculine while adding a pop of color and some nice decoration and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to download this for yourself, it will be on my Origin, so just look for AtomicSparklez 90, and let me know if you guys want to see more of these by leaving a like, a comment, and subscribe for future videos. Bye!